Welcome everyone to the World of Outlaws Dirt Racing on Xbox One. And yes, I'm playing this on an Xbox One, not an Xbox Series S or Series X. So no 4K for me, but that's okay. I'm playing it on an Xbox One that is several years old, and it was pretty immediately noticeable to me that this game was developed for a Series S or a Series X. I've had some very long load times as I've tried to move throughout the menu, and that's to be expected. Hey, we're in the next generation of the Xbox, so I'm a little bit behind, and it shows. But we're going to have fun with this game nonetheless. So there's a few different reasons why I wanted to make this video today. Number one is because I've been waiting for this game pretty much since it was announced way back when. Unfortunately, the timing of the release of this game meant that, well, I'm a little bit behind. Some changes in my personal life have meant that I have very little time these days to either game or record gaming for the channel. So you're going to notice a lot fewer videos on the channel. I'm going to be doing as much as I can, but there's just not going to be a lot of time. So there may be weeks go by with no content at all, but don't fret, I have not forgotten about the channel. It's simply that I'm going through some changes in my personal life that are not going to allow me to make the amount and the type of content that I've been used to and that hopefully you guys have enjoyed up until now. As far as the game itself, unfortunately I haven't had a whole lot of time to spend in-game and particularly on track getting used to the cars. Maybe 20 or 30 minutes is about all the time I've spent so far, but there are a few things that I've been able to gather just from that limited amount of time. First and foremost, if you're familiar with the previous Monster games, the Tony Stewart Dirt games, then the look and feel of this game is going to be very familiar to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that the handling of the cars, and we have some different cars here. You've got different variations of sprint cars as well as different variations of late models, and the handling is different than what I had hoped for, but about what I had expected. Now, obviously, with iRacing being involved in this game, albeit they came in at a bit of a late stage in the development, if I remember correctly, the handling isn't exactly what I hoped for, meaning that I was hoping for a little bit more simulation type handling, but so far, again, very early in my impressions, but so far, I just don't feel like that's the type of handling that I'm getting. I feel like I'm getting handling much more familiar to and similar to the previous Tony Stewart games. And a great example of that has been the little time that I spent in the 410 as well as in the late model. I have found it almost impossible to spin the car out. In fact, I have loaded up the loosest setup and really done some things with the steering wheel on corner entry and just really trying to see where the limit is before you spin out, and it's almost impossible for me to spin the car out without help from another car through contact and things like that. But even on some of the banked tracks where you can get your left front down on the apron that is not banked, which should really de-wedge the car and get it rotating, it hasn't rotated the car enough. It's almost like there is a barrier there that will not let you spin the car out. In fact, the first time that happened to me, the first thing I did was exit out of the race itself and go back to the menu to make sure I didn't have any driving aids on. That's how bad it was to me. But even with all of that, and who knows, maybe my opinion will change once I get deeper into the gameplay. But the one thing I do feel is going to be for sure is that it's a lot of fun. I have no doubt that I'm going to be able to have hours and hours of fun in this game. And ultimately, that's really what matters. Now, deep down, I was hoping for a little bit more of a simulation experience similar to the iRacing handling and whatnot. But I completely understand that we're not going to quite get that on a console title. At least not at this point. Who knows what the future will bring. But just to show you how little time I've spent so far in the game, I have exactly 0 races that I have finished. Generally what I've been doing is I've been going to a particular track and car combination and just sort of playing around with the car, seeing how it feels. One of the things I've had to do for this is I've had to change the pedals. that I'm using. I use a Logitech G920 wheel, but for the past almost year now, I have been using Fanatic pedals. And can't do that on the Xbox. You can't mismatch the wheel and pedals, so I had to bring back, crack open the Logitech box and get back out the Logitech pedals, which is not exactly what I would have wanted to do, but you do what you got to do to play the titles that you want to play. I also really want to get online at some point just to play around with that, see how the connections are, and see what type of racing there is. I've got an idea of what it's going to be, but you just never know until you get there. One final thing I do want to take a look at with you guys today before we hop into a quick race, just to have a little fun today. In the video, we're going to load up the options, and this is what I've done. Let's go back to gameplay here real quick, just so I can show you guys. I took out, most of this is going to be default. I haven't messed with a lot of things. But the car shake, I made sure to put that at 0 because there still seems to be quite a bit of it, even at 0. Wheel-to-wheel contact, I think I left that alone, but I might have actually reduced that just a little bit because I have found that the AI seem to be very aggressive. So that's some settings we'll look at in just a minute that I'm trying to really dial that in because it seems like there is a wreck several times during each race. So right now I'm using the Legend difficulty, which is the highest difficulty there, but I might actually need to back off of that a little bit until I get used to the game in particular. I have turned off the damage just because of the way the AI has been racing so far and all of the contact and the spins and everything. I've turned off damage for right now just so that I can have a little bit of fun. Now the driving, don't want any of the driving aids on because that really hurts my experience more than it helps. But if you find that you need to turn some of these stability help, driving assist, wall avoidance, that type of thing on in order to increase your enjoyment, then by all means do it. It's all about having fun. Now the AI, I have just started to mess around with this just a little bit. And the couple of things that I did was increasing the starting spread to try to give a little bit room of extra room on the starts because a lot of the contact is happening very early on within the first lap or two. So I'm trying to help out with that. The incident frequency, I've lowered that just a little bit. Again, just to try to reduce some of the wrecks. But I must say, I would much rather the AI be aggressive and race hard and fight hard as opposed to be very passive and just sort of move out of my way. So I'll take what I've gotten so far and try to dial it in rather than the opposite. Now controls, as I mentioned, I'm using a Logitech G920 wheel and pedals. Now my throttle pedal is not exactly where it needs to be. That's one of the reasons why I had to buy the Fanatic pedals. But you see here, I have made a few changes to the sensitivity for the throttle. I mean, I'm trying to play around with this and see what works best for me. But again, that's going to be a work in progress, as this will be certainly a moving target for me. The throttle will reach 100%, but it doesn't stay there. It backs off to 90, and all the while I haven't moved my foot the entire time. So I've got some work to do there, but so far it has not hindered my experience, even if it's maybe taken a little bit of speed away overall. All right, the rest of this I haven't really played around with except for the music. Immediately turned that off for a couple of reasons. Number one, didn't really care for it when I did hear it initially, and also can't use the music while you're recording. YouTube doesn't like that in most cases, so that made it an easy decision to turn that off. All right, so that takes care of the options. The next thing we need to do is hop back over to Quick Race, and let's pick our car and track combination for today's video. Now, traditionally, up until about a year or so ago, I was more of a sprint car guy. Watched sprint cars as much as I possibly could, but over the last year, I must say, I have become more of a late model guy. I've been watching tons of late model racing, as well as the sprints on Flow Racing, and so I'm basically hooked. I am addicted to the late model racing. So let's go ahead and do the late models. Unfortunately, not all of these names are familiar to me because, well, I haven't been watching the World of Outlaws. I don't have a subscription to that service, so I am familiar with some of the others, but hey, these guys are outlaw racers, and so some of them race in pretty much anything they can. So here is what I've done so far. I had my wife come down, and I asked her, I said, okay, paint me a car that you think looks good with one stipulation. It's got to have the bright green in it. I have to have the bright green in my paint scheme. And so this is what she came up with. So for those of you who are wondering, that is how the design of this car came to be. So we're going to go ahead and choose that. And now as far as the track, now I have not ventured really into more than a couple of tracks. I have spent a little bit of time at Charlotte, a little bit of time at Eldora, and then I could not resist going to Falls. It was just something I had to do, but that's really as far as I've gotten so far. So what we're going to do, we're going to stay away from the quarter mile at Falls for right now, and I'm going to go with Eldora. The reason is it's a half mile, it's big, it's wide, so hopefully we can keep the contact from a minimum, or at least the contact from the AI. Who knows what kind of contact I might get into personally. So laps here will be 60 laps, and I absolutely love that. We'll see if we can get through an entire race. If not, hey, we'll get as far as we can. Before we hop into the A main, I thought I would show you guys my stats so far for those of you who might be curious. Obviously, there is a lot more speed to find here, but for right now at Eldora in the late model, I'm at about a 14.3 for my better laps. But I find that most of what I'm fighting right now is trying to be steady and secure with the car. So I did, if you look at the bottom of the screen, right in the middle, you can see I did make a custom race setup, but it is nothing special right now. Essentially, with the default setups, whether I went more toward the tight side or more toward the loose side, the car really wanted to swap ends very quickly, which is not what I am looking for. It felt like it essentially had very, very low cross weight regardless of where I was on the slider. So I simply raised the cross weight some, played around with the nose and tail weight a little bit, just to try to secure the car a little bit since we're going to be in heavy traffic and I need all the help I can get in traffic right now. So those are really the changes I have made, more so than trying to look for any type of speed. But we did make it to the A main, starting in 15th. This should be a lot of fun. All right, here we go. A main starting 15th, and oh my goodness, the car is already all over the place. So let's just try to get things spread out. Look out, whoever you are. Going to be a lot of contact in this race as I try to figure out what on earth this thing wants to do. Oh, that's my boy Jimmy right in front of us there, the 20. Love that car. Jimmy Owens, he's from Tennessee, so it's a lot to like for me there. Oh, the hammer right up there, love it. Love seeing the names that I am familiar with. Not familiar with all of the World of Outlaw guys. Oh, 99. Wow. All right, 57 laps to go. Yeah, it's a long race, but for me, this is valuable experience. Look, we're probably going to do that quite a bit. A lot of tank slappers onto that wall because I have yet to get a good grip on just how wide these cars are with the way they hang the bodies. The right rear hangs out so far. But I love the close racing. I love the aggressiveness of the AI. I'm going to have to tone it down some, but I would, as I mentioned earlier, I would much rather have this than the AI that are really just sort of laying over for you. But these guys are racing me really hard here. I'm trying to get up a little bit to the high side, but I don't want to get up too high because I don't want to slap the wall any more than I have to. Yeah, this game is going to be, oh, yeah, like that. Oh, hold on to it, Hammer. I love that they run the multiple grooves and that they move around, so you can't just say, oh, I'm just going to run the high side and pass everything. Good gracious, I really like that wall on the exit. We got to do something about that. When I do get into building setups, oh, look out. That was a nice slide job. I wonder if that's Josh Richards. I don't know who that is. When I get into building setups, I'll have to get, you know, a much better feel, because right now it's definitely off, but it is more stable than what I had with the default settings, no matter where I was on the slider. Wow. Richards there, he's making it tough on me. Because he gets mid-corner, and he's struggling right now. Sometimes he misses at mid-corner, gets really loose, and it's just sliding. Alright, let's see what I can do up here. Well, we ran them down quick once we got up here, and if I can keep it up, we will run right by them at the rate I'm going. Oh, tag the wall there, entry. Oh, look out, tight. Oh, look out. Okay, there's just people everywhere. It's just carnage. Okay, we do get a yellow. I was wondering, I had relaxed yellows on, and I wasn't sure. But yeah, we're in 8th position. I have no idea how, because I'm anything but smooth right now. So highest difficulty, we're running 8 as of now. Don't do it. Don't do it. Old Gordy there was trying to get us all in trouble. I love that I'm able to use the brake to really get this thing to turn and to refine the line I'm running and that kind of thing. Oh, okay. Oh, we can just do that. Yeah, these guys are ultra aggressive, and I love it. I love it. This is going to push me really hard once I get into this game. They're running all over the place. They're aggressive. They will slide you. And they are not giving you anything. Yeah, that is what I'm hoping for. More of that, please. Look at that, we got guys sliding all over. DIRTcar going for a nice slide there. Yeah, you can easily run the track wide open all the way around if you want, but it's not necessarily the fastest way around, unless you get the car handling the way you need it to. Especially in traffic. It can be really hard to run wide open the entire way. You'll find that you have too many guys trying to take your positions, take your line. Now it is unfortunate that we don't have the live groove here, or real track, or whatever they call it in iRacing, where the track, you know, slicks up and you have to change your line and all that. We don't have any of that here, or at least not that I can tell. The track appears to be the same at all times. Alright, just from what I'm feeling right now, I kind of like the baseline that I've got for the setup because it's nice and stable. Certainly need more speed from it if I'm going to catch up and run up front with these guys at this level. But for right now, oh, look out. But yeah, it's nice and stable where I can maneuver the car without getting it so terribly sideways. Yeah, the high side is where it's at, for sure. Like, man, when I get up there, and when I'm able to run it right, which is very few and far between right now, but when I am able to do it, and hit a corner right, oh, look out, almost got up too high there. You can really just blow through the corner with a lot of speed. tons of grip up there when I hit it right. In the bottom, oh, like that, that's not how to do it. Don't need the tank slappers. Okay, let's just keep doing tank slappers. You know the guy behind me is like, what on earth is he doing? Like, can this guy drive at all? And the answer is, not very well. So I keep trying different places on the track, just trying to see what's here. How the car feels, what kind of speed I can get at running different grooves and whatnot. But my goal with the setup is to where I have to turn the wheel as little as possible in either direction, either to get the car to go left on entry or turning back to the right through the remainder of the corner. The least amount I have to turn this wheel, the better off I'm going to be. Alright, 25th. Now we get into lap traffic. Oh, he went high. Did not know he was going to go high, and that's what I love. Just don't know where they're going to go, just like you would expect. These guys are running their own race. Ouch. Any questions about why I turned the damage off? I didn't think so. Yeah, you just stay up top and let me try to get this bottom down here. Or at least as close to the bottom as I can get. Watch out. Didn't really mean to get that far down the bottom of the straight. Yeah, this is a great track for me to learn on, to get the feel of the cars. The ones I really love, though, are the bull rings, like Falls, over at Fairbury. Those are the ones I really love. I need a little bit better feel for the car if I'm going to be able to run those tracks. Now, I have no idea what lap we're on. I'm just having a blast. I'm just out here running laps, living life. Tapping the wall, slapping the wall, sometimes slamming the wall. Whichever. Oh, that's a lap car up there, too. Look at that. Just... yeah, this is so much fun. Just trying to learn how to run this bottom. I feel like there's going to be a lot of speed there. I just can't quite catch it the way I need to, and we already see what I've done up here on top. Oh, look out, look out. That's not good, that's not good. Don't do that. Somehow we're in 7th place. I mean, this feels like I'm doing awful. And I'm sure it looks like I'm doing awful because I think I am. But somehow, on max difficulty, I'm running inside the top 10. Oh, that is not good. On corner exit there. Yeah, we got a little contact going on here. Me in 20th position here. We are having a nice little battle. Oh, there's our power gun day. Oh, look out. Connection, hang in there. My internet connection is trying to go away. It shouldn't. There's 10 times more bandwidth than I would ever need on this thing. Alright, Gundaker. Yep, right there. Right in the middle of the corner. Look at this. This is just like in real life. This is where it gets interesting. Gundaker is killing it in this traffic. Instead, I am killing the right side. But this is, again, I'm just going to keep saying it's just fun, fun, and fun. And right now, we're just losing positions left and right. Huh? Yeah, a lot more work to do on the setup. A lot more work to do on my skill level. Oh, 11 laps to go. Wow. Okay, we've made a long way into this race. You can see I'm sticking to this bottom even though I'm pretty sure that I could get better lap times up top. Just because I'm trying to gain some experience here. Oh, that's the, okay. Ouch. That is the leader. We're getting lapped running inside the top 10. You're all over the place. So the leader's running the bottom, at least right now anyway. But look at all the traffic in front of me. A few of those are going to be for the station because I know that they're going to be in there. That car just pushed itself off the cushion there. Just, I thought we were going to run that corner high and decided no. Oh, hello. Ouch. What's called not being clean. Apparently not giving him enough room. My bad. Yeah, the high side is definitely going to be the way to go for me. That's going to be the easiest way I can see to find speed. But as always, you got to do it right. I'm going to have to give it a good wheel after this race. I am absolutely just wearing this thing out. Oh, look at you try to go to the bottom. Look at you. Oh, I was just about to ask, hey, how many laps I wonder do we have left? But, okay, so let's take a look here. First of all, yeah, it is Josh Richards. Okay, in the one. I was wondering who that was. All right, so we passed Jimmy Owens. I feel like we're doing good. All right, Gundaker and Hammer both got us. All right, Clanton, Blair, Brent Larson, Herb Jr. Okay, Dennis Herb, of course, is going to be up front. Tanner English up there. Okay, so we ended up with 5 cars on the lead lap. We ended up just inside the top 10. I do feel like once I can get this set up, handling better, being smoother for sure, and as I get used to driving the car more, I feel like we can definitely get up inside that top 5 and maybe contend for some podiums. We'll just have to see. Can I win at this difficulty level? I have no idea, but it is going to be a blast finding out. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and stick around for more World of Outlaws.